A slave who cannot assume his own revolt does not deserve to be peace. We must henceforth count on our own forces, on our own genius. A country in Africa called Burkina Faso had a very big problem. It wasn't a war with guns and soldiers. It was a war against hunger. The leader of the country, a man named Captain Ibrahim, saw this problem and decided to fight it in a new way. He said that the biggest weakness of Burkina Faso was not its army, it was its land. The land was good, but there was not enough water. Rain did not fall regularly. Without water, you cannot grow food. When a country cannot grow its own food, it has to ask other countries for help either by buying food or requesting donations. This is a big problem. When you depend on others for food, you are not truly free. The countries that feed you can control you. Captain understood this very well. He said that a nation that can't feed itself is on a leash, like a dog. It doesn't matter if your country has laws that say it is free. If you are hungry and someone else controls your food, you are not in charge of your own life. So he decided to change this. He realized that the most powerful weapon for his country was not a gun. If you control water, you can grow food. And if you can grow your own food, you control your own future. You can be truly independent. This idea was very different from what past leaders had done. For years, African leaders were advised by powerful Western countries and organizations to take loans and hire foreign companies to build infrastructure. But these projects were expensive, slow, and often failed to help the poorest people. Captain believed that the true path to freedom wasn't in meetings in faraway cities, it was in the fields of Burkina Faso. It was about digging channels to bring water to dry land. This is called irrigation. He chose to start now because the weather in the Sahel region of Africa was worsening. There were more droughts, bringing the country closer to famine. The old way to deal with this was to ask for help. But Captain wanted to break this cycle. He didn't want his people to beg for food. He decided to act, not just react. He knew that the longer he waited, the more dependent Burkina Faso would become. The rest of the world was surprised. They were used to African leaders asking for aid, not leaders who said, "We will do this ourselves." Captain S focused on water was more than just a farming project. It was a resistance movement, a strategy to make sure the country would never again have to kneel and ask for grain. He wanted to dismantle a system in which hunger benefited others. Water is an equalizer. It doesn't care about wealth or politics. If you can harness water, you can transform everything, a dry desert into a farm, a poor village into a place of opportunity. But water needs a path. It needs channels to carry it. And that's how the next chapter began. Captain didn't just want water, he wanted to control it, multiply its impact, and use it to help his people. So, the government started repairing the Gula Dam to store water. Now, they had a question: where should the first big irrigation canal go? He made a bold choice. The Bama Plains. This land had rich soil but terrible droughts. It had long been neglected, a symbol of broken promises. By choosing Bama, sent a message. If he could make this dry land green, anything was possible. It would show that even the most hopeless parts of the country could be revived with vision and hard work. This was how the Bama Canal was born, not as a dream, but as a real project carved into the earth. The plan is for it to become the longest irrigation canal in Africa, watering thousands of acres. The goal is to grow rice on 1,260 hectares and vegetables on 70 hectares. And this is just the beginning. They plan to expand by 200 more hectares. What makes this project revolutionary isn't just the water, it's how it's being built. Normally, governments would hire foreign companies, but said no. He insisted it be built by the people of Burkina Faso. The engineers, workers, machines, everything is local. The urgency is local. The pride is local. He didn't announce the project and wait. He set a strict, deadly date. Most foreign-funded projects take 5 to 10 years, but new hungry people cannot wait. This became a national mission. Construction starts before sunrise, continues under floodlights at night. Every delay is treated like a failure for the whole nation. For farmers in Bama, this is more than a canal, it's hope and redemption. Their parents and grandparents once gave up on this land. Now, families are returning not to beg, but to reclaim what was always theirs. This canal is modern. It uses solar-powered pumps, pressure valves, and smart monitors. It's built to last, combining local wisdom with cutting-edge technology. Warehouses are being built to store crops, roads to transport them, and water distribution centers are placed strategically, not for political show, but for real need. This canal is just the first. If it succeeds, and signs show it will, it becomes a model for the rest of the country, a proof that the idea works and can be replicated. But water alone is not enough. The system needs people to farm, to sell crops, to create businesses. The real transformation is in the creation of a new economy. As water flows through the Burkina Canal, it starts a revolution not of steel and concrete, but of calories, control, and confidence. The goal was never just to move water, it was to grow food and end hunger. For years, Burkina Faso's food system was like a hostage dependent on foreign aid and global markets. A war or drought elsewhere could mean hunger at home. But now, with local fields producing food, that power is returning. The canal is expected to produce 50,000 extra tons of food each year. These are not guesses, they are based on real studies. But the real win is controlled food sovereignty. Burkina Faso now decides what its people eat, when, and how. No more being forced to accept overpriced emergency shipments. No more political strings attached to food aid. This has led to a shift inside government. Farming is no longer just a rural survival tactic, it's a national security priority. Ministries are treating farming like the military. Economists are looking at agriculture as a way to grow GDP with a reliable water supply. Farmers can plan, rotate crops, and grow multiple harvests a year. Women, once given poor land, now have fertile fields and real economic power. Food prices are stabilizing. People spend less on food and more on health, education, and small businesses. This creates a ripple effect of growth. Technology is helping to AI for irrigation, sensors for soil, drones for monitoring. These tools, once reserved for billion-dollar farms, are now being used in Burkina Faso. Each advancement strengthens the country's independence. Burkina Faso is gaining soft power, respect, influence, and leverage not by begging, but by feeding itself and selling food to neighbors. This is smart politics. Onions and rice have become tools of diplomacy. The canal started as a ditch, but what flows from it is political power, economic stability, and true independence. Beyond the economy, a deeper revolution is happening, a rise of national pride. People wake up with purpose. They're learning trades, building their futures. This project is turning workers into builders of the nation. Captain made one thing clear. Burkina Faso will be built by its own people, not outsiders, not foreign engineers, not handouts. And this is visible at the Burkina Canal site. Over 2,000 direct jobs have been created. Each job means a salary, a skill, and a sense of agency. Welders, engineers, masons, and technicians all are locals. This isn't just construction, it's a national school. Normally, such projects are outsourced. Locals do the lowest paid work while profits leave the country. Rejected that model. Instead, he built a local supply chain. Materials are sourced regionally, and logistics handled by local companies. This keeps the money circulating inside the economy, supporting businesses, banks, cooperatives. It's like a nation's circulatory system pumping life throughout Burkina Faso. But most powerful of all is the pride. Ask a young welder on site, he won't talk about GDP. He'll tell you how he once begged for work in the capital. Now, he earns enough to support his family. He's not just earning, he's rebuilding trust in his country. For many, this is the first time they've ever seen government money spent in a way that helps them directly without middlemen, corruption, or delay. That earned something priceless. Loyalty. Not blind loyalty, but loyalty earned through results. The 8-month deadline wasn't just a slogan. It was a test of the people's discipline, skill, and power. And they are passing. Vocational schools have sprung up around the canal site, teaching skills in solar tech, water management, and agricultural business. These are not temporary jobs, they are careers. Young people are staying in their villages, not because they must, but because they see a future there. A future they're building with their own hands. This is the ultimate revolution. A people empowered, a land reborn, and a nation finally, truly, standing on its own.